G'day guys, welcome back to my shed. I'm BC. Thank you to the 1,077 subscribers. Feeling a little bit chuffed getting that number up, and I hope I'm speaking into the microphone loud enough for you fellas. I've got a little condenser mic on me to try and get the GoPro picked up a bit. Amazing what you find when you stock take. A few items left behind by customers. If they don't want to fill the order, well, I'll put them into my glory box. Nice little pry bar. You can never get enough pry bars, especially when you're collecting debts. Another miniature pair of vice grips. Always a good item in the shop. I found these under one of the shelves. 4 good sized wedges. They'll go into my collection quite well. Monic balancer kit. I can't remember who that was for, and that must mean it's for me. Mine's a little bit tardy, so that won't hurt. And a box of assorted 3/16 milling cutters. Once again, into the glory box. None of this will be thrown out. And a good donation for the repowering of the tool and cutter grinder. Nice piece of heavy angle that will get bolted to the top of the work head on the grinder, or sorry, the wheel head on the grinder, and a vertical bracket to mount the motor mount onto. I'll clean this up on the mill or the shaper this weekend if I get a chance, and we'll proceed with the axle box horns for the loco. So I have a lot of work to do for me. Also have a job for a customer. He's got a little old small MIG welder and the torches have it. I've got a torch that may suit the job, and we've got to try and get the adapter sorted out. Just drill and tap 10 by 1 electric conduit thread and make up a small liner adapter, but it may get his MIG tool or his MIG machine up and running again. So I'll swap cameras out for a bit of a closer look, and welcome back to In My Shed. Back again everybody. How could I forget the big news of the week? I'm going to go ahead with the magazine, both for hobby and light industry. I've been playing with it for about 1.5 years now. My lady has got the graphic design part, not down pat but usable, and I think I've got the magazine assembly side of it reasonably well, thanks to some brilliant software. We'll see how good it works, but very soon we hope to put a skeleton up so that you can see that we're real. We've got a landing page, a couple of advertisers, some quite good stories coming up, and I think some interest that will drag you in. But seriously, would anybody like to contribute? I've got 16 people so far that will give me something in writing and a few pics, but we've got to spread it out. We've got a hell of a big country. We've got thousands of people who would like to see a magazine. Lots and lots of comments up on Live Steamers and Model Engineers of Australia on Facebook. Wish we had a magazine back. Well, now's your chance. Now, it's not too hard just to send 2 pics, maybe 3, and enough verse to fill out a couple of A4 pages, or if you want something small, 1 small pic, a half-page special. The magazine is designed to be in 2 halves. One is for the home machine shop, and I think I should have called that small machine shop, because there's a lot of guys out there, 1 and 2 man bands in a little 120 square metre shop that are probably applicable, but anyway, I'll keep it as it is. It can always be changed. And the other half is Model Engineering Australia, which I don't want to be 100% model railway concentric. I want it to be encompassing all facets of model engineering. I have an article on a brilliant, well, I suppose full-size hit-and-miss engine built by Owen from Billet. Bugger me, no castings involved. Made his own magneto, so that's a really good article coming up. So if you'd like to contribute, if you'd like to find out about it, you can either contact me in comments here on the YouTube channel, or you can send an email to steamloco1954@outlook.com. Either way, if we can get a bit of a banter going, I hope also, when I find out how, to get a forum going so we can get a little bit of backwards and forwards banter and get a bit more communication. I'm not saying that the Facebook page isn't sufficient or it isn't good. What I'm saying is it is very, very open and banter. It's full of BS. It's full of nasty guys having a stab in the guts. They don't care if it's a young bloke trying to learn something they've got to vent their spleen. I will edit that out. We will have reasonable comment, sensible people only. None of that crappy stories at all. Anyway, back on. I'm about to clean up the big piece of angle for repowering the tool and cutter grinder. I'll get you in closer with a bit of a tele view and let's get some milling done. Bye. Okay, back again. Hope I didn't bump the camera. What I have here is a little 2.5 inch Secodex face mill. It's very, very old. It takes a square positive insert SPUN, 12mm on the side. Inserts are standing up very, very well. As I've said in previous videos, I normally do this sort of facing work in the shaper to try and save on tooling costs, but also it's just something I like doing. But today I'm not trying to hold dimensions or anything really accurate. I just don't like building machines without machine surfaces, so I'll be trying to clean up the outside two surfaces and the inside if I can. So, as Andy would say, let's go for it. Start the machine up and I'll take about 1/2 mil depth of cut, I think, just to clean it up. Let's see how it goes. Sneak up a little bit, just touched off. Now I'll come up about 1/2 mil. I thought that get a little further. And I'll go to the other end of the table and feed it along. A little bit rapid. I definitely won't complain about that. It's almost cleaned up and it's good enough for what I want. Bring the table across now. And I think that should clean it up. A reasonable finish. I could have got a bit better going slower, but as I said, it's only a machine part, so it doesn't have to be lovely. Mr. says me cranking the handle. Talking to me a little bit. Nice to be held a little bit tighter in the vise. As I say, Seco tools are good value for money. This is a typical piece of Chinese angle. It's deformed, nowhere near flat. We've normally got to cut a couple of millimetres off it to turn it into a machine part. But it's all fairly easy work so far. Okay, We're at the end of that clean-up. I've just got the table a little bit. Cut the spindle off. Now all that's left to do is end for end it, put it over and do the other face. There's about 2/10 of a thou of step, so that's good enough for the machine. There's a couple of spots that didn't clean up, not that it worries me, but another comment I will make with the shit box I've got on the shaper, there's very little clean up. All the rubbish just gets thrown into the bin there. So I'll tip it end for end, clean that up. I'll do as much as I can on the inside and then we'll see what we're going to do on top of the tool and cutter grinder. Well, here's a shot for those that wonder why I machine things up before I bolt it together. I started off with 1/2 millimetre depth of cut back at the angle end, and at this end it's nearly 2 millimetres depth of cut. Now the piece of angle is up on parallels on the inside face, so the inside and outside face are out of parallel by almost 1.5 millimetres. Now just imagine if you're putting a building up with this rubbish bloody steel. How's it all supposed to stay together? Bloody awful stuff. Anyway, I'll square these up and we'll see how much we can't get to with the face mill on the inside edges. Back again. Well, here's one that wasn't so successful. I tried using the fly cutter I built about 50 videos ago and it's just not suitable. The insert, I don't think it's failed yet, but it's getting very scratchy. I can't take more than 1.5 thou to 2 thou per pass, and it's just not rigid enough. I think one problem could be I haven't got the tool holder at sufficient of an angle to reduce the amount of contact, but this is a good reason to have a shaper. I'll shift the material over to that vise and we'll give it a good scrape. Back soon. Now here's the same job set up on the old shaper. It took me probably 10 minutes to get the cords out and get it set up, which is about the same for setting up the milling machine. It'll be a slower pass, but it's going to cut right up into the corner. It's making almost no noise, so Shaper Andy would say let's go for it. There's not a lot of excitement with these machines when you're just taking a light cut. It's just a plain high-speed steel tool, sharpened reasonably well. Actually, I'll drop that down another 1/2 mil or so I'll back it out. Now we'll see if we're going the right way. That's a bit better. Shapers are very good at producing lots of things, including gear teeth, but most specifically they're good at making flat surfaces. Interestingly enough, this tool block can be mounted on a rotary table, and I have heard of an old locomotive workshop that used a shaper on a ramp of earth in front of the cylinder, and they actually bored the cylinder, rotating the head after every stroke just by a couple of thou. They did not have the specific cylinder boring equipment. I think I've got it set on 42 strokes a minute. Yep, that's right, 42 a minute. I have got 80 strokes a minute that I can select, but it just about shakes the concrete slab to pieces when you're running at that speed. That's a fair weight around, probably 200 kilos of ram, and to get that rotating more than once a second is asking a bit much. So compared to the painful job I just had of doing this with the mill, no. It's all, of course, my limited tooling. I don't have a big diameter face mill, but you can only use what you've got. Okay, I'll take you up a little bit closer. I'll stop the ram, wipe all the crap off, and see what it's like. Well, there you are. Not a fabulous surface. It's only a roughing tool that I'm using. It's slightly serrated, but this is only a machine mount, so it doesn't really matter. But one thing I will point out, if I can swing the camera around enough, is all the bloody cleaning up I've got to do over there and to pick up a machine table. So that's going to be at least 10 minutes wiping all that down and probably vacuum it out. Where here, it all finishes up in the shit box. I know which I'd rather use. Okay guys, please like and subscribe, and think about putting an article up for the magazine. Bye for now. And after all the hoo-ha about how good the shaper is, I had to resort to the milling machine. I just had a little crash on the shaper, I'll admit it. Just thought I'd trim the ends up on these, make them look a little bit prettier. And after this pass I'll be putting the speed up a bit. It's way too slow. They're not a bad little hog mill, these things. I'll get another couple of mil. This I think was about a $90 special off eBay. Takes an ADMX or an ADPT insert. It had an enormous 150mm shank when I bought it. So that was part of cutting off the cutter. I chopped the shank off it, now it's quite rigid and it performs really, really well. I'm quite happy with it, so let's give it another try. Maybe it'll be a bit happier at this speed. That's a little bit better. Losing a handle here. Okay, another mil or so. That's a chomper. In this case I can see technology is great. Go up a couple of mil. That's about a 5mm depth of cut, I think. Or 5mm height, depth of cut's about 3. Look at it pull the material off. Let's just hope it doesn't go bang. I was trying to do this in the shaper and actually come loose in the vise again to crash things. So lucky I wasn't filming that, or I'd be embarrassed you seeing it. Wrong way. Yeah, we'll go this way. All this with 2 horsepower. I will admit this is really quick, but there's nothing to love about running a fast milling cutter. There's no nostalgia, no sound effects. Okay, one more finished edge. Bye for now.